team. Took a bullet for the dream that we would one day all be free. Free from prejudice, free from sexism, free from bigotry. I die for creativity. I die for freedom to be free. I died and left a legacy. Oh, but baby, I still live through technology. After the sun, oh, then comes the rain. And after the sun will start shining. But tears of pain, and tears of pain, and tears of pain, and a dash of struggle, just be patient. Your destiny will manifest. Yes, photosynthesis.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? What's going on? Give me a second. I'm posting on Instagram real quick. Y'all, this is what happens when my ass be following the spirit. Because I wasn't going to do a response until Monday. No shade. Because I still have some things that I have to do this weekend. But my spirit wouldn't leave me alone because my true calling, my true purpose, is in my advocacy work. That's kind of where I'm in right now. You said the morning voice. No, that's the weed voice. I was gonna try to roll up before this started, but we gonna do it in the middle of Ron's commentary. Again, shout out to Ron Vuggotta. I don't have any malice or hatred in my heart. Again, this is just me trying to understand another human being's perspective within themselves, because no tea, no shade, all facts. Objectively, outside of themselves, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And, you know, I'm practicing patience and long suffering and mercy, just like I would wish someone would do for me if I was in an ignorant space. But I'm just trying to simply understand, and the math is not mathing for me. Again, I think we have to get out of these fear-based, basic-ass mindsets and really become more open-minded. Again, that's my opinion. Because at the end of the day, we all live in America. We have to find a way to be able to coexist with each other. The commentary that Ron has been giving does not show a supportive or inclusive type of atmosphere. And he has yet to really prove outside of himself that the choices that he has made is a beneficial one. Now, on the back end, the back end, I've had a few private conversations. I'll say I have the honor and privilege to have a few conversations with Ron, and I can understand where he's coming from. But again, he's not really effective in communicating what he really feels. He's adopted a lot of political language that is very triggering. It's language that doesn't have any context to it or any nuance. It's very basic. It's very shallow. It's very surface level. It's very much fear. Like I said, it's very, 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 very much fear-based. And I'm here to illuminate the darkness. Okay, I'm here to illuminate in the realm of darkness, shall I say. I'm here to be a light in the midst of darkness to help bring clarity, because there really isn't any. No tea, no shade. I'm really waiting for the public conversation. Excuse me, y'all. We. One thing about smoking, baby, you finish one, you start another one up, okay? For all of my good partakers of the herb, girl. Shout out to Mother Marijuana, bitch, okay? But I'm still waiting on the public conversation. I'm still waiting to publicly talk about this. And I see the commentary that Ron gives, that Lance Scurv gives, even some of the commentary in the web reality world. It gives me an opportunity to like really challenge myself and test myself. I see these as challenges. I see these as thought-provoking obstacles. And it's about me learning how to delve within myself, allow myself to not be triggered by what's being said, and to be able to still honor the humanity in someone else who is struggling to do that for me. You get what I'm saying? So, before we jump in, y'all, let me grab my blanket. I'm a little chilly. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Baby. It's a little chilly in Detroit. Okay. It's so cold in Nadia. But before we get into that, let's get into our disclaimer, because once again, we have to dot our I's and cross our T's. We got to be smart about this. So here we go. Boom. Oh, that's not it. Boom. There we go. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107, okay, of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism. We're going to give criticism. To give commentary, which is what we're going to do. News reporting, scholarship, and research, because once again, we're bringing objective facts. No shade. No tea. Just truth. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So now that we have gotten that on out of the way, baby, this weed, baby. Let's get into the commentary. I low-key was gonna wait until Monday. I was gonna wait until Monday, but again, Spirit was like, no. This is why Christ's work, love work, is never finished, baby, because there's so much ignorance in the world. It is. And I'm just doing my part. So anyway, let's get into Ron's commentary. Do I have to take this off? Yes. Let's get into it.
A lot of bullshit going on in America, and I seem to be the only person who is concerned about it. Maybe I'm the only person not oppressed enough to give a I seem to be the only person who does not care to lay down in submission to fucking liberals. Nowhere in my living day would I ever hire a trans... Almost came out with the slanders.
Now I ain't gonna hold you. I am proud of Ron Ass for at least checking himself as opposed to being triggered by what other people say. Because he was saying some very derogatory things in reference to trans people. He's found another code word for them by calling them transformers, which no tea, no shade, all facts. Even though I'm not trans, I can't really speak to the trans experience, and neither can he, no shade. But I guess it's the lesser of two damn evils. Like, no shade. So shout out to him for challenging himself in that way. Let's continue.
With the slanders, but I gotta start cool. No way ever in my life would I hire a transgender. You wanna know why? Because the first case of a transgender is mental illness. Now you want to tell me, okay, there are transgenders who are probably smarter than you, Ron, and they probably know so much more than you and could talk degrees and talk shit out of you in circles. Well, this is the thing. I truly do not feel that way, because anything that a transformer has to tell me truly is mental illness. You can't tell me that I have to sit here as an entrepreneur. I have to sit here and hire a transgender simply because of equal opportunity rights. I don't care that people want to sit here and say, oh, well, transgenders, they're breaking down barriers every fucking day. Now, homosexuals can get married in all 50 states in America. Well, that's great, but what does gay marriage have to do anything with your life? Because the whole consensus of a marriage is for a man and a woman to bear and raise a child. So what exactly are you accomplishing getting married?
Their slice of the American dream, like everybody else. And again, we tend to forget that when people get married, it's like a contractual obligation with each other. God forbid something was to happen to my partner. I want to be able to have control over what happens after the situation. And vice versa. If I was in a situation, I would want my partner to be able to have control over the whole situation. Like, there are reasons why people get married. Are LGBT people not able to share love? That's the thing, like, share love. I understand that there's a lot of sexualization going on, but again, that's not exclusively LGBT. That's a human being problem that everybody needs to deal with. But for those of us who are aware of ourselves, those of us who do want a higher version of love, why should we be denied that? And then on top of that, you know, a lot of the commentary that you're talking about in reference to being Republican and being conservative and being a capitalist, gay marriage brought in millions of dollars to the U.S. economy. You know, the gays are lavish. You know, the gays are grand, girl. You know, the gays have to have it right. And you know, the gays are the ones, statistically speaking, that is making a lot more money than their heterosexual counterparts. So of course, now that they have the opportunity to really share their love in front of their family members and friends like their heterosexual brothers and sisters do, the millions were coming in. So gay marriage has done wonders for the U.S. economy. And it's done wonders for people who actually want to, again, have their slice of the American pie, which is owed to them. No shade. So is he an ex-gay now? I don't believe so. I've asked him that question because then once again, someone did left a comment underneath his video where they did say, you know, and again, I can understand where Ron is coming from because I had in-depth conversations with him, more so than what he is sharing online. So for him, it is more of a sacrifice for the greater good, for the next generation. That's perfectly fine. But once again, that's your sacrifice. The issue is when you try to make your sacrifice the only way or the only right path in reference to being a self-aware, fully functional and realized and actualized human being who happens to be LGBT. Do you get what I'm saying? But again, the delivery and the facts behind the delivery are just not adding up. Because again, you're counting yourself out. But once again, you're sacrificing. So I guess you already see that as the way. And if that's the case, I mean, no tea, no shade, but all facts, maybe you should consider ex-gay conversion therapy if that is the case. I mean, that seems like the most applicable thing, especially since you know you believe in religion and Christianity. Like, why not go all the way? Like, why not be an actual light bearer to all of the immoral, sexually deviant, sexually oppressive, sexually destructive LGBT homosexuals? You know, why not show us Vuggattas, us lesbians, us niece nephews and bristers and she-shims and thems and we's and in-betweens the actual path to Christ, which is complete freedom, which is the connection between a man and a woman, the way that, according to the interpretation of the Bible, through the religious standpoint and viewpoint, is between a man and a woman, and not between two men and two women. Let's continue.
Because you don't want me to talk about how homosexuals should be illegal for homosexuals to raise children.
Why?
Unless they pass a severe mental test and vote conservative Republican. That's the only way I could trust two homosexuals raising a.
That's why I say, Ron, I gotta believe your ass trolling, bro. I gotta believe you trolling. A part of me gotta believe you trolling. Like, a part of me wants to believe that this is your newfound identity. But when you say certain things like that and there's no validity behind it, I have to be like, yeah, this nigga literally is trolling. You are trolling. So what is it? So once again, it goes back to the narrative of how do you really feel about LGBT people? It is a fear-based narrative. Why do you believe that two men or two women are not capable of successfully raising a child? Why? And then on top of that, why do you feel like they have to go through extensive mental tests? What do you mean by that? To see if they get aroused by children or something? And if that's the case, I feel like that test needs to be applied all around the spectrum. If that's the case, because again, it's this fear-based ideology that perpetuates the idea that LGBT people as a whole are sexual predators against children. But when we statistically look at it, it's more heterosexual people doing that more so than LGBT. I'm just confused. Let me cut this music off because I feel like this music is not working for me. I'm just confused. I'm confused. And don't you want to have kids as well? Don't you want to have a family as well? So what makes you different than the other LGBT people? Because you're conservative? Is that the only way that God is going to look past the bullshit and be like, okay, that's cool. You know, you conservative, so I guess I can let it slide. Don't do too much. You know, don't do too much. But I can let it slide. I don't know. I just don't understand.
Child. But if you're gonna tell me that two liberal homosexuals, two dykes, two bulldaggers,
Oh,
two
Lord.
men in wigs, two transformers are going. First of all, I don't even understand why I even have to think about homosexuals raising child, because homosexuals can't even get in a relationship that'll make sense for them to even get into a child.
You haven't done your research, sir. There are so many LGBT couples out there. There are trans men and trans women having families. There are two women having families. There are two men having families. I mean, all you have to do is just do a simple Google search. It's not that hard. But now what's happening is that because these are LGBT, same gender loving people, now there seems to be some sort of flaw or some sort of like something's not right. But in what they show and and what they apply and what we objectively see is contrary to what you believe. Yes, maybe the LGBT people you've been around have not been able to manifest healthy relationships. But if we're going to be all the way honest, I mean, I'm pretty sure there are heterosexual situations in your own personal life that did not work out. No shade. So once again, we're taking this broad generalization and trying to apply it to LGBT people. It makes no sense. It literally makes no sense whatsoever.
Stage to raise a child, so maybe we don't have to worry about that. But as far as employment, it should not be wrong. I read an article recently where a woman was fired because she stated her views that she does not agree with what gay marriage, and her company fired her. So it's okay for liberals to fire conservatives for our ideas, but it is not okay for a conservative like me to close our doors in front of a transformer.
I mean, well, that's been happening before in history. This is not anything new. The opposition that y'all are feeling is the same opposition that LGBT people felt for decades. Okay, for decades. Again, what the gag is that now the oppressor is feeling what is the oppressor is now experiencing what it's like to be oppressed. And in the words of Whitney Houston, it's not right, but it's okay, because it's like that's the only way that people are going to learn. And my thing is, why are you being judged off a fixated notion in a book that is not even interpreted correctly to completely just label me as this and not see me as human, but yet you want people to see you past your label? That's where I'm gagging at. That's where my confusion comes into play. You are literally denouncing the experiences of other people based off of your own perspective. And no tea, no shade, but all facts, some of your perspective is ignorant. And a lot of your perspective have been negative ones. So in a sense, I can understand why you have such a strong opposition against LGBT people. But once again, you're not meeting the actual LGBT people. Because like I said, no tea, no shade, all facts, I'm still waiting for a public conversation. I'm still waiting to talk about this on a public platform. It is not for views, and it is not for clout. It's not for anything like that. My thing is, I'm really about this activism work. And it's going to give people the opportunity to see the real truth or the objective truth or the gray area. That's what I'm about. Because once again, I can understand what you're saying, which is why I am giving my commentary on your commentary and not coming at you in a negative or low vibrating way. It could be easier. It would be easier for me to just read, because that's what the people want, and that's what people are doing to you. And it will probably give you a chance or an opportunity to read me back and to give in to the inclination that a lot of other LGBT people have gave you. But I'm choosing not to do that. I'm choosing to do something different, to break it down from a more self-aware perspective. Because once again, I've had conversations with LGBT people, the trans people that you're afraid to hire or be around because, according to you in your last video, you said trans people are not good people. They're just simply not good people. You're not going to talk to them. You're not going to have conversations to understand. You're going to have conversations to respond. And that's the problem. That's the issue. But then once again, you want your experience, you want your reality to be validated by people outside of you. So you want LGBT people to respect you and your perspective and your viewpoints, and I do. I have to. I have no choice. I have to respect where Ron stands, because Ron is his own person, his own individual. But when it comes down to making blanketed terms and blanketed statements that you really cannot justify objectively on a grand scale, that's when it becomes dangerous. Because then people who are not educated on LGBT things end up believing the rhetoric. And unfortunately, because the rhetoric is so immense, it's a lot of the bullshit, there are people out there who will end up doing what they did at Club Q, going to a predominantly LGBT establishment and lighting that bitch up, because they feel like I'm doing God's work of getting rid of the sodomites and getting rid of all of the mental illness that is being allowed to spread all over America. I'm confused.
The only way I love a transformer is through Jesus Christ. That's the only way I love a transformer.
So why is it hard for you to walk in what Christ asks you to do? That's the gag for me. Why are you struggling with what Christ asked you to do? Because Christ talked about love. That's what I'm saying. Like, once again, it just proves the point to me that a lot of people who are Christians have not read the Bible, and most importantly, have not read any of the followings and teachings of Christ. They have not done it. Because if they actually did it, they would be able to actually walk in application of that. So it's easy to say, oh, I love you because Jesus Christ told me to love you. Okay, but what does that actually look like? What does that actually look like?
But it is up to that transformer's ability to look in the mirror and say, you know what, am I happy with who I am? And you can't be happy with who you are because the basis of your the initial thought of who you are is a lie. It's mentally wrong. It's mentally it's different. And it's not that people like me are scared of different. It's
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's what it is. It's different. It's different than what you're used to. It's different than the norm. And instead of educating yourself on the differences to study and show thyself approved, it's easier to just write something off different as weird. I don't have to deal with it. And then, because of the ignorance and the fear, we create these narratives like trans people are not good people, or create the narrative that, oh, trans people are just people who are waiting inside of toilets and bathrooms, waiting to pounce on children and women. But then when we objectively ask for the facts, when we objectively ask for you to show us the proof, it's not happening. It's not happening at all.
the fact that people like you won't accept reality. And you want us to force ourselves into accepting something that is different, but different in a way that is not progressive at all. Liberals call themselves progressive, but it's funny because they're the opposite of progressive. They're like regressive. I won't just blatantly be like, oh, you're a transgender, you're a mental illness, I don't want to hire you, it's fine. I may say something like, you know, I'm not interested in employing people like you because I do hold a certain straightforwardness about myself. I won't leave you cliff hanging like, you know, oh, well, he said he'll give me a call. No, I'm not going to call you back.
But you just simply just shared, like, you might as well have just said, oh, I don't want to hire you because you're transgender and you have mental illness. You might as well say that because that's what you believe. It's just that you're finding a more politically correct way to let them know. No, just tell them the truth, that that's what it's going to be. That's the thing. Like, if you really strongly believe in what you believe, then stand firm in that. Stand firm in that. Don't sit here and pussyfoot around with somebody. And again, you're judging somebody based off of a stereotype that you haven't even really vetted or tried to figure out if it's true or not. You're automatically disqualifying somebody who's trans based off a fear-based and ignorant standpoint about trans people. You're not judging them by their work ethic. You're not judging them by their character. If anything, it's like assassinating their character because they're trans. So you're automatically okay.
I'm not. Because you are mentally ill. At any point, someone will have this whole psychotic mental break in my workplace simply because one day they decide that they're a man, and then the next day they decide that we have a woman, a damn dyke, who decides that now she's a man, and then the next week she's trigender. What the fuck is a trigender? A third gender? Since when was there three genders in life?
But what does her gender expression have to do with how she shows up at work? And then secondly, where are these cases of trans people who are just in the middle of a workplace and just decide, hey, I guess I'm going to be trans tomorrow? Where is this? Besides the hypotheticals, where is this stuff happening? That's what I'm trying to understand. Where are these extreme cases that is happening at such a rapid manner and at a rapid rate? Where is this at? Again, these are fear-based thought patterns and processes about LGBT people. There is nothing of substance when it comes down to the... There's nothing of substance that comes down to the... I'm trying to find the right word to say here. based on your experiences about trans people. Have you even had experiences with trans people? And if so, what were those experiences like? And then on top of that, would you be open to have a conversation with somebody who is trans, who knows who they are, who have been walking in their trans experience for years now and has a strong, solid foundation of self-love and honor and worth about themselves? Would you even sit down to have a conversation with them? And if not, why not? What is preventing you from sitting down and having a conversation with somebody who is trans? Again, these are fear-based ideologies. And like I said, if you're trying to get liberal people to understand, because I know you want to make conservative commentary, you have to understand there are going to be more people who do not agree with you who are going to be watching your commentary than those who do. Just like for those who are liberal and that are Democrat, they get a lot of Republican people in they shit too, speaking shit. So both sides is going to have opposition come at them. If you're trying to convert people from being liberals, lost liberals, low vibrating liberals, lucidious liberals, demonically lucious ass liberals, into becoming righteous Republicans, okay? Ricocheting for Christ, girl, all across the world, then you need to show these people how there is, what the truth is for the Republican Party. Like I said, we need to see you at these Republican conventions going live, recording videos, doing podcasts, having conversations with other Republicans about black people and about LGBT people to let us know that, hey, you guys are the ones with the issue. You guys are the one with the problems. Why don't you guys come over here and get your motherfucking life? Again, you have a burden of proof, sir. Especially when you put this type of information on the internet. So once again, you have to work better at explaining what you mean. Because, again, objectively, on the outside of you, you're struggling to do that.
Since when is it not okay, I want to say this. It's not mental illness when I get on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and post my body 90% naked. It's praise. It's liberation. It's amazing. It's not mental illness then, but I, Ron Vuggotta, am mentally ill because I say that if you look down at your dick and you see and you imagine a pussy, then I'm mental illness because I say that you're mentally ill. If that's what's going on in your mind when you see that.
Okay, let's break that down, because the homosexuals are the ones who are the end all be all of education. Let it be said. You being praised for your body, again, is not something that is exclusively homosexual. It's the sexualization and the lusting that we have for each other as human beings that needs to be addressed. The fact that there are people who are willing to reduce you down just to what you can provide for them sexually, that is the issue and the problem. You trying to conflate that with LGBT experience is where the failure and the misconnect is happening. Okay, again, that's not an exclusively LGBT thing. Okay? Secondly, you speak about trans women looking between their legs and imagining a vagina when they have a penis. Here's the thing. Once again, that's why they label themselves as trans women. They understand that their biology is male. They understand they were born male. They understand that, they accept that. What they're saying is that how they show up in society, which is a woman, which is a social construct. Again, women, through the social construct, wear dresses, wear makeups, wear wigs, get their hair done, get their nails done. They're pretty. They're girly. They play with darlies, girl. They play with Barbies. I was trying to say Barbies and dolls at the same time. They play with Barbie dolls. Okay? They cook, clean, and wash everything. Women don't wear pants. Women don't wear masculine clothes. Women are dainty. Like, again, these are the social construct, and these are trans women. These are women who have these are individuals who have transformed into the social constructs of a woman. That's what it means. That's literally what it means. But once again, we are not educating ourselves. And I get it. I know people think that high school and college is the end all be all of education. But baby, we all live in this thing called life. Which means that we all are going to always and forever be learning. And if we're going to better ourselves as human beings, we have to connect with other human beings. And they will come in different forms, different expressions, different viewpoints. Our job is to actually try to figure out what the fuck it looks like to unify and be inclusive. Like, why are people scared of inclusivity? Why? Why are people demonizing oppressed groups of people? The fact that these same people are having the same conversations and discussions that they were having decades ago, it literally shows the opposition. I did a live talking about the fear-based ideology of heterosexual people's perspective, or a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them, in reference to LGBT. How in the 50s and 60s, you had straight people trying to tell other people what LGBT is like. They didn't understand it. Now we have grown in modern technology and in science to be able to answer the questions that we didn't have the answers for before. And a lot of the viewpoints that you are sharing, Ron, is resemblance of the same sentiments of the opposition that LGBT people had to face during the 50s and 60s. But what happened is you had people who were getting sick and tired of people who were not LGBT controlling the narrative about the LGBT experience. But then now that we're in a place where LGBT people are able to speak from their own experience, and not only speak but show their own experience, now the power that a lot of oppressors had through fear, they don't have it anymore. And that karmatic boomerang is now coming back around to hit those who are the oppressors. Like in the Bible, it says that the last shall be first and the first shall be last. That's literally what's happening now. There is a transference of power. And our job is to be able to wield the power in a righteous way, meaning in a way that is objective and inclusive and goes for the truth. Not what I think, what I might believe, or what I want to believe, but what the actual objective truth is. And the objective truth is that these trans women are living their own experience and unique life. Their transness is in no way, shape, or form destroying a cisgender woman's experience. If anything, trans women are complementary to actual cisgendered women, because they're using cisgendered females, shall I say. They're using cisgendered females as a prototype, as a blueprint. And even me saying this, I don't even have full authority and jurisdiction to even speak about the trans experience, because I am not trans. I am a same gender loving male like yourself. So whatever it is that you're applying to LGBT people, understand, in the words of Mary Catherine Gallagher from one of my favorite movies, Superstar, I am rubber and you are glue, and whatever you say to me bounces off of me and sticks back to you. That's literally what's happening. And then you want to try to explain, or yet you have explained to the people publicly on why you feel that you are an exception to the rule against LGBT people in America. What makes you different than individuals like myself and trans people and lesbians? What makes you exempt from the judgment that LGBT people are still facing to this day? Please answer that question.
There are things called sacrifice. There are things that people have to do in order to progress a society in the right way. I
Okay.
feel like conservatives are more progressive than actual liberals because
So conservative. Let's look up the definition of conservative real quick. Define conservative. Hold on one second, y'all. Define it.
I found this on the web.
Girl, I want you to read it, bitch. If that was the case, I could have typed it in. Girl, not my phone acting like a lazy liberal. Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Define conservative. Okay. Conservative.
Conservative.
Okay. Is averse to change or innovation and holding traditional values. Now, it's interesting because it says here, the second definition, in a political context, favoring free enterprise, private ownership, and socially traditional ideas. Okay, let's look up what aversion means. Aversion,
Averse.
oh, I'm sorry, adverse or aversion, having a strong dislike of or opposition of something. Okay, so having a strong dislike or its opposition of. Okay, conservative means that they have what? A strong dislike or opposition to change or innovation in holding traditional values. So how is it that conservatives are are productive and conducive? What's the word you use? What's the word you use? You said you feel like conservatives are what?
I feel like conservatives are more progressive.
Progressive. A conservative is progressive. Now, I don't know, maybe you are creating a new definition. I mean, hell, the Transformers are creating new definitions. I don't know, maybe that's the thing that we own to. And if that's the case, that's okay. That's fine. But again, looking at the definition of conservative, conservative doesn't like change. It likes things to be the way that it is. It likes to be familiar. It likes to be comfortable. It likes to keep the identity that it has created alive throughout its generations. So, again, you have the burden of proof, Ron, to prove to everyone outside of you how conservatism, being conservative, okay, and being a God supremacist, how that is productive and it's actually a step in the right direction. You have to bear witness to that, sir.
Than actual liberals because it's more progressive to hold on to tradition. It's more
It's more progressive to hold on to tradition. Okay. It's okay.
progressive to hold on to what is fact checked and what is right.
Okay.
It is not. It blows my mind.
I'm trying to have my mind blown, nigga. You talking about your mind blown? Is your mind blown because you are struggling on trying to get what you feel and what you think across? That's why I want to have a public conversation to help you to get that across. But I want to understand once again, objectively as well for everyone else, what is it that is blowing your mind about this? Because if you are walking in such a truth, your mind, well, I guess in a sense your mind could be blown because you may have discovered the truth for yourself and you feel like everyone should understand your personal truth. And again, you shared things with me on the back end, and I really want you to share them on the front end so that you can have more context and nuance to what you're saying, because I feel like you'll be able to hit people differently if you were to do that. Say, are you live? Yes, I'm live right now. Yeah, we are live. Yes, I am live. If you have any questions or anything you would like to add, that's perfectly fine. But you wouldn't have your mind blown if you were just if you would have conversations with people who are LGBT. Like, that's the thing. You're trying to understand something that you have no information about. And the only information that you do have is just your own experience. And that's okay. That's a part of fact too. But it's not the only fact. We have to also become, again, more contextual and more nuanced in it. But let's continue. I need to smoke this damn, where my lighter at? Because I done rolled this damn joint up already. Let's continue.
It blows my mind that we're in a world where I have to condone a man in a wig, and I have to condone a dyke, and say that their way of living is okay. And that's why I cannot hire a transgender, whether it's
But but my thing I'm trying to understand is, what is the struggle? Like, how are these people hurting you personally? I'll ask that question. Is money coming out of your bank account when another trans person comes out in their trans experience? When someone comes out as lesbian, is food magically missing from your fridge? I mean, when a gay man comes out and walks in his truth, like, is a couple grams stolen from your eighth of weed? I don't understand. Like, again, what is the fear? You haven't proven anything really, Ron, on why your fear should be what it is, and how other people should take that same fear that you have of trans people and put it in the forefronts of their minds. Again, where is this grooming behavior that's happening on a large scale? And then on top of that, where is the evidence that shows that this is happening exclusively in the LGBT community? Because once again, how you're saying it can be taken as, again, a broad generalization. And if it's going to be a broad generalization, I want you to tell me where I have done some of this LGBT behavior. I mean, because I'm LGBT, so I mean, according to you, I'm participating in it. So where is my participation? Actively. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. But we gonna figure it out. We gonna figure it out.
for an employment to scan stuff at a retail place, whether it's to be a nanny, whether it's to be a driver. I simply cannot support transgender people and liberal homosexuals as a whole. So let me rephrase before people just say, "Oh, Ron has a thing against transgenders." No, I have a thing against homosexual liberals as a whole. I'm talking about anybody that is weird, anybody that is off their rocker, anybody that is totally just out of tune with reality. So all you can do is smoke weed and pop perks to feel like yourself, because a delusion is where you feel best. I can't condone that, and I feel like me denying a transgender or a homosexual liberal in general the right to employment at my business is only doing them justice. Want to know why? Because people like Obama, who lay down in submission to these kind of people, they do nothing but feed their fantasy and make them feel like, oh, what I'm doing is right because I can get a job, or oh, what I'm doing is right because these people accept me. They have passed, Joe Biden has passed it to be a law for gay people to get married in 50 states. So what I'm doing must be right. It's not right. And people will look at me and say, well, Ron, you must really hate yourself. I love myself more than any fucking body can believe. I love myself so much that I'm willing to sacrifice.
You love you. Okay,
I'm
good.
willing to sacrifice these liberal wants that I have in order to progress America into the direction that it needs to go.
And once again, you are struggling to really share the direction that you feel like it needs to go and how that can happen. Like, what are the steps necessary? And it gives the illusion that the only steps that you believe is that they have to be, once again, going through a mental psych evaluation, and to also be a conservative. You say you love yourself. Why are you then denying other people who love themselves enough to be able to walk in their own truth despite how other people might think about them? And again, you talk about sacrifice. It's more so, it's not the fact of, oh, these people want LGBT people to do shit behind closed doors. They don't want LGBT involved at all. That is the issue. Because even when there was a time where the oppressors had power over the oppressed people and had them believing the fears of their oppressor, they still fucked with LGBT people. Even when LGBT people would go into areas that was exclusively LGBT, there were still heterosexual people who found their way there to discriminate. These are historical things that have happened. And these historical things have not just happened in the past, but that historical energy is being manifested in the present moment as well by commentary that you're giving as well. You are allowing a book and a certain traditional ideology, again, that is fear-based and ignorant as fuck, to be the preface for what everybody should follow. But human beings in the expression of God in the universe, in the world, in America is going to be different. Different races, different ethnic groups, different backgrounds, different religious institutions and viewpoints, and different ways of expressions and ways of living life. This is where it gets irritating because once again, where is the facts? You're saying everything is fact check. Fact check where? Where is this fact? Again, where is this insurmountable amount of evidence? Where is it? Why is no one producing this? Why is it not being shared? Especially when y'all speak with such confidence about this, but yet y'all can't walk out the confidence. I don't understand. I don't fucking understand.
I would be a fucking fool to walk around and say, oh, I want to wear a wig and I want to paint my nails black.
You don't have to. You don't have to. You can choose the experience of life any way you want. You are the God in your own life, so you get to decide. Oh, I'm sorry, you're a Christian. God has given you the opportunity to be able to have free will in your life to show up however you want to. How about you let God handle what you think is immoral? How about you let God handle what you think is not right? God don't need your help. Okay, God was here before you. God gonna be here after you. The same thing with me. So my thing is, why don't you live and let God's source universe handle that on the back end? Because God's the only one that can judge, right? So if that's the case, let God do God's job, and you do the Christ job, which is to love. But it seems like y'all are kind of getting that backwards. Y'all want to be in God's position to judge, to condemn, to be judge, jury, and executioner, but then want God to love them. Okay. Because I'm really trying to keep it there, Ron. I'm really trying to keep it there, but this is what, the third, fourth installment of your podcast, and there's really been nothing conducive. There's really been nothing productive. There's really been nothing that stirs the consciousness of people. If anything, it gives the illusion that you are doing nothing but gaslighting people and trying to be sarcastic and snarky in their face, as opposed to actually explaining to LGBT people why there is an issue. Where is the scientific facts to back up what you believe? Where are the statistical facts to back up what you believe? You say that you're a person that likes to plan things out. Where is the planning? Where is the planning? Because even in my lives, I showed facts. I showed receipts. And I don't speak as a matter of fact. I sit up here and I deal with what's actually being said. Just like in this commentary, we watching your entire video. We halfway through. You know, BubzDaGawd ass can turn 15-minute video and turn that shit into an hour and some change. So I'm still waiting on the information and the facts. When are you waiting to hit us with it? Are you gonna drop it like Beyonce, just in the middle of the night, a thief in the night, like when Jesus comes back? I don't know. Maybe that's the move. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that, bruh, on the outside looking in, this not it. This not it. This ain't it, bruh. It's not. It's not. It could be better, but this is not it. And especially with you wanting to be in the political arena, it's gonna have to be a lot more open mindedness. It's gonna be it's gonna be it's gonna have to take a lot more emotional intelligence. It's gonna take a lot of that to really get you where you want to be and to actually be effective the way you want to be effective.
And if I want to wear high heels and a black mini skirt, then I should be able to, because it's just how I feel. It's just how I want to live. And then I have people like my nieces and nephews looking at me. And I want them to think that that's okay. No.
But at the same time, your nieces and nephews will have to go out into the world, and there are going to be people who are going to wear skirts. There are people who are going to paint their nails black. There are people who are going to do that. So how are your nieces and nephews going to interact with them? They could be missing out on having a dope ass, amazing ass friend in their life. They can miss out on having a dope ass opportunity be presented to them that actually is a part of their destiny. But because they have been given a fear-based ideology to go upon and not even study to show themselves approved, but actually just listen to what's being regurgitated by someone else who is also ignorant on these things, ignorance is only going to breed more fucking ignorance. And that ignorance can also be very destructive, because in that ignorance, you'll also have people who end up becoming very curious. Because you know what people say, whenever you tell someone not to do something, a lot of times they're going to do it. So, I mean, I feel like it's okay to explain to your nieces and nephews that there are different people in the world. What if your nieces and nephews end up identifying as someone who's trans or someone who is part of the LGBT community? Because that is also a factual reality as well that could possibly happen. I know you may not want it to happen, but it is something that could happen. It's not anything that's exempt. So what are you then going to do?
Because I want my nieces to marry a man who's going to take care of them and who's going to give them children so they can raise. I want my nephews to grow up to be men, to work, to take care of their wives and their children, not walk around in high heels and singing liberation songs, because it's so important for me to have a Pride Month tattoo on me. It's so important for me to have Pride Month in general. I must shake my ass on a parade and throw beads around because God wants me to do that. The only God these liberals are praising is Satan. I love people as a whole.
How can you sit up here? Okay, you love people as a whole.
But what I do not like is people who not only lay down in submission to their own sins, but they just let Satan fuck them in the ass or fuck them in the coochie and fill their head with this fantasy lie. And then they're going to end up 40, 50 years old if they even live to live that long, and not because people are killing them, but because they're killing themselves. When I look at my chest, if I had titties, I would.
Okay, let's go back to that, because I want to dissect some of what you just said, Ron.
Do not like is people who not only lay down in submission on me. It's so important for me to have Pride Month in general.
The reason why people have Pride Month is because, once again, if you were to do your research when it comes down to LGBT history, you know, which I'm surprised, because being conservative, that's all about history. It's about the repeating of history. But if you actually did your research on that, you will understand why people have pride. We don't say nothing to kids when we take kids to the beach and there are people walking around in their Speedos and their swimming trunks, and you have women that have on have on a bikini set. It's okay then. There's no problem with that. And again, it's pride, because these people are basically saying that despite what y'all believe about us, we're still going to have the pride to live in our truth. Now, I don't wear jock straps to pride events. I don't wear doggy mags or whatever the hell's going on in that situation to a pride event. And yes, there are children that do go to pride events. You also don't have to bring your child, but there are also parents who understand and educate their children because children are naturally inquisitive. They're going to ask questions. It's about how ignorant or how educated their parent is when it comes down to explaining that. There are some people who are just open minded enough to be able to say, hey, guess what? There are many different people in the world. Your family has a mommy and a daddy, and who knows, that could change too because mommy could fall out of love with daddy and vice versa, and now it could be a single parent household as well. Not everything works out to be this beautiful thing as well. But even if that was to happen, mommy and daddy still love you, right? You still want to be able to make sure that child feels love, even if both parties, both parents have fallen out of love with each other. But not only that, there are families that have only one daddy, have one mommy. There are some families who don't have a mommy or a daddy. They might have an uncle. They might have a cousin. They might have a grandparent. Hell, some parents have two mommies, two daddies. What is wrong with just letting your children know what the objective reality is outside of the household? What's wrong with letting your child know that? We teach children hatred through ignorance. And then when these children grow up and they go out into the real world and they meet LGBT people, now they're culture shocked by that. Because they've been believing this certain perception or ideology about LGBT people. And then now a lot of them are conflicted because it's like, damn, what my parents told me and what is actually objectively reality, since we're talking about reality, now there is some sort of conflict within themselves. What is wrong with just telling other people that there are other people in the world who think differently than you? And then on top of that, when y'all do tell the kids, y'all not even educating yourselves to be able to properly tell your children what's going on. Y'all want to say, oh, those are people we stay away from because they might try to touch you and all this other type of stuff. You talking about minds being blown. My mind is being blown on how people can sit up here and literally talk about a group of people that they're not educated about. That's like me as a gay man sitting up here trying to talk about what it's like to have a trans experience. I'm not trans. But I can learn about the trans experience. How? By actually talking to trans people. And whenever y'all want to talk to LGBT people, you want to talk to the people who've been through horrible, fucked up ass situations and then use that as a broad generalization to say all gays are like that. Because I didn't have a lot of those low vibrational ass experiences. I had love in my life. I had both of my parents in my life to this day. I had all of the necessary components in my life that would make me quote unquote straight, but here I am, same gender loving. And it wasn't by the failure of my parents. It wasn't by my society and my environment. It was about something that was innately in me. And I discovered how the perspective or the viewpoint of my innate feeling was experienced and expressed and valued outside of me, which causes a lot of people to stay in the closet who don't want to come out. You have people who do suppress themselves, but when they suppress themselves, they actually cut themselves off from living a full, authentic life. And a lot of those people end up unaliving themselves, or they end up getting into marriages and into relationships with those people of the opposite sex who they're not going to be able to love completely because they're lying to themselves. So how can anything fruitful and life bringing and giving come out of a lie? How can liberated people live a lie? Liberated means I end up taking the power back from other people and I liberate myself. How is that evil? Is it evil because you see these liberated people out here winning in life despite these limitations placed by society, and meanwhile y'all follow these quote unquote rules and still can't get ahead? Is that what it is? Because we can talk about money and finances all day, but baby, money does not buy happiness. It buys temporary happiness. And it buys you your time back. But it doesn't buy joy, it doesn't buy peace, and it doesn't buy happiness. Okay, let's continue with what Ron was saying.
I must shake my ass on a parade and throw beads around because God wants me to do that.
Then we have to deal, if that's the case, then we need to be down there boycotting at Mardi Gras. We need to be down there. We need to be boycotting at Carnival when all these heterosexual people come together and dress in skimpy ass clothes and be gyrating and slow grinding and slow dragging with niggas in the middle of the goddamn street with their titties out and ass cheeks hanging out from the bottom. We gotta talk about that. Like, get everybody. Don't just get the gays. Get everybody who walking around and perpetrating sin, who's shaking their ass, because it ain't just the gays twerking. It ain't just the gays twerking. It's a lot of motherfuckers twerking. It's church girls twerking too, according to Beyonce. Drop it like a thotty, drop it like a thotty. Are we getting them together too? Like, once again, if we're going to play this game, let's play the entire game. And the gag is that the entire game involves you too, Ron. It involves you too. And it involves you in more ways than you allow it to. Because if that's the case, like I said, why not go for the gold, nigga? Who wants to go for bronze? Who wants to go for silver when you have the possibility for going for the gold? Completely reformed from being a homosexual. Completely change your life and allow the essence of God and God's supremacy to fill every fiber of your being to where homosexuality has to leave. Because according to the Bible, you can't be lukewarm, right? You either got to be hot or you got to be cold. You can't be in between, girl. So with that being said, baby, you trying to leave an iconic deposit on planet Earth through your work. Why not go all the way? Why not go for the complete gold? Like, go all the way to make homosexuals be like, well, damn, like, bitch, if he can do it, I'm just saying, if you're gonna do it, fully commit. Don't do a Lawn Street half-ass job at it. Like, fully commit. Like, we need to see Ron Vuggotta as the next Republican candidate who done conform from homosexuality. The Lord done remixed his mind. Now he like pussy. And now he got 4-5 goddamn kids now. Baby, you talking about winning the presidency, baby? Baby, you will be the perfect weapon against liberal people. You will be the perfect weapon against the Democrats. If your ass was to fully convert and conform to being a 100% heterosexual, completely ex-gay. I'm talking about being invited to Bible campuses and church campuses all over the country. I'm talking about people being proud to check your name off on the ballot. I want him to be my president. Them homosexuals don't have an excuse now. Them dykes don't have an excuse now. Them transvaginal meshes don't have an excuse now. They don't have an excuse because now I've showed them the way. Just like Jesus, I've shown them the way. So now if they don't want to go down that path, they simply just don't want to go down that path. And that's what God is going to have to deal with them. But I've done my part, like really go for the gold. I'm just saying that would, you talking about authenticity? You're talking about trailblazing? You're talking about being an innovator? Do that.
The only God these liberals are praising is Satan. I love people as a whole. But what I do not like is people who not only lay down in submission to their own sins, but they just let Satan fuck them in the ass or fuck them in the coochie and fill their head with this fantasy lie. And then they're going to end up 40, 50 years old, if they even live to live that long,
Excuse me.
and not because people are killing them, but because they're killing themselves.
And why are they doing that? Why are they unaliving themselves? Why? Have you asked that question? And when you ask that question, have you learned to listen from your heart as well? Not just your head, but your heart. Because again, if y'all read the narrative of the Bible, which a lot of y'all have not, or y'all have misinterpreted, it's about marrying your mind and your heart together. Your mind is the masculine part of you. Your heart and your emotions is the feminine part of you. That is what needs to be married. That is what needs to come together to create a union between those two things to be able to manifest a balanced life. Because if you're going to have the best life, you need both intellectual and emotional control and awareness. When you have been told outside of you that your viewpoint of expression of life is evil and demonic, that your family will outcast you, that your friends will outcast you, that society outcast you, and most importantly, that God above, who allowed your ass to come to planet Earth, has created this as a permanent or temporary hell for you. And you can't talk to anybody about it. And then for the individuals who do want to talk to other LGBT people about it, because they haven't been affirmed and they haven't had any form of self-love, and they've only fucked away their feelings or has someone feel their actual hole to try to fill a allegorical hole in their fucking heart and their emotions. They end up having their life force drained from them, because they're looking for love in all the wrong places or all the hurt places. So damn, I can't find no sort of freedom or a love or affirmation from those who say they love me, for those who say they love humanity and they love human beings, but yet they're struggling to walk that out. I don't know what a form of self-love looks like for me, because I don't have any healthy role models of individuals who are LGBT, who have been through my experiences and have survived and have become better. Eventually somebody is going to want to unalive themselves, because they're going to ask themselves, what's the fucking point of living? And do you know how many LGBT people, including myself back in the day, used to pray to God every day, please make me straight. Please make me straight. Not make me straight because I innately feel like something is wrong with me, but make me straight so that people outside of me will stop treating me a certain way. To the point to where people will literally live their lives in the closet and lie to people. Not tell the truth, but lie. Get into relationships with women. Get married to women. Have children with women, but still desire men. And what you repressed and hold down eventually will come to the surface. What's done in the fucking dark will eventually come into the light. And we're doing we are not doing the one thing that Christ, whatever, God, source, whatever you want to call it, has called us to do. We are not walking in love. That is the thing. How can you sit up here and say that you love people, but you don't even know how to express that love to somebody else? You don't even know how to tap into that love energy to be able to connect to the hurt part of somebody else. That's what Christ was able to do. Christ was able to talk to people and reach their heart. Christ was able to acknowledge their humanity. So why are you struggling to do that? But then want people to validate your humanity. Did one of the scriptures say, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you? Okay, all right.
When I look at my chest, if I had titties, I wouldn't be imagining, I wish I could get rid of my titties. Now, a breast reduction is a different thing. That's a different thing. But we're talking about women who's totally just think that there's a dick coming out of their pants. They're walking around with strap-ons, pretending to have a hard-on everywhere they go. That's not mental illness to no one else. Non-binary, get the fuck out my door. Transgender, get the fuck out of my door. I would never hire you. And people may call it prejudice, but this is my thing. Is it not prejudice when conservatives have to navigate this America that's becoming so liberal and so weird? It's like
Wait,
it's
wait.
becoming a fantasy land. It's like
Conservatives feel some type of way because they were able to use the Bible as a shield to hide and protect them for their bullshit, but yet project their insecurities and their illnesses and their hatred onto other people and then say, the Bible said this. Okay, girl, well then when we find out what the Bible says about your ass, then now all of a sudden, girl, the devil knows scripture, girl. Again, where is this level of exemption coming from? Why do you feel like God is going to exempt you from the trials and tribulations of life? Because you're conservative? Because you're evangelical? Your own book, the own Bible, says that God is not a respecter of person. So, do you think you're going to get brownie points with God? You're going to get a check plus 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 on my I'm going to heaven card? Are you going to have thousands deposited into your holy bank? Because if we take a deeper look at the Bible, book of butt, you will find out that your ass in there too. And if we're going to play the whole game, everybody going to hell, baby. We all going on the slope fall to hell, bitch. We all going to be in some level of hell. I might be in the 9th level. You might be in the 4th. I don't know. But we still going to hell nonetheless. But when we start having those conversations, then all of a sudden, the devil knows scripture. Then why does the devil know more scripture than you, and you're the one who is a Christ follower? This is what happens when people speak and have no power in what they're saying. This is what the cringy energy gives. These people who say they walk in love and that because God told me to love, it is y'all duty and y'all burden of proof to actually walk that out. Because the judgment day that y'all talk about and when Christ coming back that y'all talking about, understand he gonna check y'all first. He ain't gonna check the world because Christ already know the world is going to be the world, girl. They're not gonna change. They just the world gonna be the world. But I'm going to check and see if my people have kept my word. And y'all gonna gag when Christ bring out that whip and start whooping y'all asses like Joe Jackson. Because y'all didn't kept the words of Christ. Y'all kept the words of Leviticus. Y'all kept the word of Matthew. Y'all kept the word of Romans. Y'all didn't keep my word. I specifically asked for y'all to keep my word. And I gave y'all 2 commandments that is so universal, so basic, so training wheels on a bike for y'all. Baby, it's so many people who think they're not gonna gag, girl, who are going to be literally gagging. I'm talking about all the way up. I'm talking about stomach gonna be cramping, girl, gonna be dehydrated, girl. Ain't gonna be able to breathe, girl, because it's just the contractions are so involuntary, girl. Like, baby, shout out to goddamn cis women, baby, because we all about to get spiritual cramps in this motherfucker. We all about to be in the fetal position in this bitch. And my thing is, instead of having commentary that is divisive, we need to start having conversations that bring us together. Because the universe gonna gag all of us, girl, and we all gonna be human, girl. What happened in 2020 didn't just happen to a nation that wasn't Christian, girl. This happened to the Christian nation too, girl. The one nation under God got sat down too, girl. The nation that has 50 million 11 churches on one block, girl, got closed. There is an ascension that is happening that transcends religion and conservatism. Because conservative only is, once again, in the definition, to hold this certain ideology and viewpoint, hold it until we die. And if you want to hold on to a conservative mindset, you have every right to do that. But what you're not finna do is sit up here and stop people who want to progress, who want to evolve, who want to ascend. If you like being on this level and you like being content on a certain level, girl, again, God, Source Universe has given you the right to be able to choose that because it's your choice. But you don't get to choose for me how I should live my life. Because you know, what y'all could also do too is not give it energy and leave it alone. What y'all could do too as well is live and let it be. And that's most likely the best thing that I can suggest, because if y'all stop giving LGBT all this unwanted energy that y'all giving it, I guarantee you it would dissipate in your face. The reason why it's so in your face this way is because the universe is trying to show y'all that y'all have the issue with it. And again, y'all are bearing the name and the title of Christ, which means to love, right? So y'all have a burden, baby. Jesus Christ told y'all to pick up y'all cross and follow me. And baby, y'all on that Peter shit. Y'all on that 12 disciple shit, girl. Y'all falling asleep in the garden, girl. Y'all was trying to walk on water and did it for a few seconds and then sank, girl. Wait, I am ready for the public conversation. BubzDaGawd is ready for the public conversation. I don't know how much more planning you have to do, Ron. I'm ready for you to prove to people why you believe your perspective is beneficial for other people. And again, I understand you say that your commentary is for conservative people only. But just like you get on, but girl, you have a conservative commentary about liberals, but don't want the liberals to respond. So you want to have a clubhouse meeting with other conservative people, not to really produce anything that is going to be productive for America, but take your time to actually regress the process of people who are progressive. I need y'all to make this make sense. Objectively. And the only way that's going to be any sense is going to be made objectively. Because I don't have all the answers and you don't have all the answers. But if we come together, we can discover the objective answers. I'm ready. I'm letting you know I'm ready. I'm ready. You let me know the time and the date, and I will show up. I'm ready to have this conversation. What are we waiting for?
You hold a Bible to these people's faces and they burn. It's like holding garlic to a vampire. They burn.
Really?
But if you hold up a dildo to their faces, they're like,
It's a lot of church hoes that's doing that same thing. See how your face look? Oh, hallelujah, hell yeah. It's a lot of church. Why are we acting like church people ain't having sex? It's two taboo things that the church don't like talking about, girl. That's money and sex. And let's be real, they all want some. It's a bunch of religious people. It's a bunch of religious women that got fucked in the ass and feel like they still a virgin because they ain't get fucked in the coochie. It's a lot of Christian people that's doing a lot of one time at band camp. It's a lot of them doing that too. And if you do your research, there's a lot of individuals who are in religious institutions who are LGBT who sit there and endure the vitriolic hate coming from the pulpit, because if they hear it and deal with it within themselves, then maybe God will have mercy on them because of their same-sex attraction or quote-unquote afflictions or unnatural desires. So you have LGBT people in church who are there. Like, look at the black church. It's nothing but just feminine energy in there from women and from men. It's homosexual central in religion, especially in the black culture church, baby. From the shit I've heard and the shit that I want to motherfucking do my own research on, baby, it be gay central there. Meanwhile, baby.
Oh my God, are you gonna touch me with that? Oh my God. Oh my God. Ooh, you make me so hot. You send them a dick pic. They pretend that their asshole is getting wet. They're like, oh my God.
Yeah. It be women too who motherfucking be getting moist when they see dick. Again, like, I understand you're speaking from the context of LGBT because that's your experiences. And again, I'm not going to denounce that. Your experience happened. It's valid. It's a part of history. The issue is when you try to make your experience the overall experience for everybody else. That's the thing. Like, once again, what you're saying is not exclusive to LGBT people. And the fact that you are sitting here trying your hardest and really failing at trying to make it applicable as only that's exclusive is failing, bruh. It's failing. It's failing.
Oh, that dick pic is so hot. Oh my God. Oh, send me another cock shot. Send me another cock shot. That's
Okay, you fucking with them white bitches, girl, because ain't no black bitch saying cock, girl. With them, send me the dick pic. I want to see that dick. We don't do cock over here, girl. No.
not mental illness, but what everything that I'm saying on my platform is mental illness. That's why I don't get why people think that I'm jealous of them or that I hate myself, because it's like you think I'm mentally ill. I think you're mentally ill for thinking that. If your children had to be in a room with me or another liberal homosexual, who would you think people would rather want their kids to be around? Someone who's going to tell them that, oh yes, take your clothes off because sex is good, sexuality is good.
Again, where are these videos of toddlers literally stripping down to a Katy Perry song or a damn Todrick Hall song, busting it open on an 8 count? Where is this? Where is it? The stuff that you're speaking about, where is the information? Send it to me. DM it to me. Educate me. I want to be educated on what it is that you're saying. Where are y'all getting all this information, girl? You talking about mental illness? Well, I guess we all mentally ill, because at this point, we all making shit up, I guess. You talking about men pretending that they women. And meanwhile, you're sitting here saying that if you were to take a liberal homosexual and a conservative homosexual, that automatically the liberal homosexual is going to tell the kid to take their clothes off and let me touch you in your no-no spot and try to explain to you how you let me touch you there is a good thing. What? And if we're going to play that game, how many children have got fucked in church? Let's not talk about the Catholic Church. They was helping them young boys keep their high ass voices by stretching their throat out with more than just communion wine and goddamn communion bread. And again, this whole conflating of LGBT people, particularly trans people, being sexual predators, where is the evidence? Not what the fuck somebody is telling you, but you fact checking the evidence and seeing for yourself. Where is this overwhelming amount of it? Where is 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 it? That'd be the problem. A lot of people be talking out their ass and the side of their damn neck so confidently, but yet have not produced any form of receipts at all. Where is it? Crack my face. Somebody prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Crack my face. I'm already short. I'm already close to the ground. I'll be able to pick it up. Crack it. Motherfucking dead silence my ass. Motherfucking Annabelle my ass. Chucky my ass. Antique doll smash my ass. Smash the face. Okay. All right.
Strip out of them clothes. Make yourself feel good. That's what you want to do. Feel good. You want to suck a fucking dick? Go suck a fucking dick. Because it make you feel good. They want you to wake up thinking about Grindr. They want you to wake up thinking about Tinder. Oh, what is Young Miami doing? Is Young Miami and Meg Thee Stallion eating each other out? Now, I get someone like me, me and another conservative male getting married. I can get that.
What?
Because we have our brains on straight.
You gay. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No. What you... How? Because you won't be quote unquote homosexual in public? But you're still homosexual. Are you okay with other people not playing? Because you have to also understand that your children, regardless of you being conservative or not, they have two daddies. Okay? And just like you're ignorant when it comes to trans people's experience, there are going to be so many other people who are going to be ignorant because of your experience. And that ignorance, guess what? Your children are going to be affected by that. Because they're going to meet other kids who are going to say, oh, well, you have two daddies and my daddy told me. So do you think that, oh, well, they're conservative? Oh, okay, well, okay, never mind. You can play with my child. Hell no. It's going to always be a side eye at you. Look like your children won't be having any sleepovers. Look like your children won't be going to any sleepovers because they have two gay parents, two daddies. What if they teaching that butt sex stuff to their kids and now they kids come over to my kid's house and they try to teach my kid that butt sex stuff because that's what the parents are doing. Do you understand the ignorance? So you about to explain to me how you are exempt. Okay, so explain to me how it's okay for you, for two conservative men who are still gay. They still fuck each other. They just fuck each other behind closed doors. They don't let people know about it. They're not open about it. They're not thinking about the sex. They're not talking about the dick. They talk about the dick behind closed doors in the bedroom when it's time to fuck. Okay, I get that. You're about to explain to us how you're exempt. Okay, how?
Like
how?
Me, me and another conservative male getting married, I can get that.
Right.
Because we have our brains on straight.
Okay.
We have our minds on right.
Mm.
I'm willing to even sit here and the same mental evaluation that I was talking about for homosexuals to raise kids, I'm cool going under that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important and it's quite imperative.
So what do you feel like if you were the one? Because once again, you growing in your political career. My question to you would be, what would be the criteria? What do you feel like they need to go through with the mental evaluation? Like, what are some of the questions that are going to be asked in reference to this mental evaluation? Like, can you give us a snippet or some cliff notes or something, or some highlights of what this would look like? Like, are you going to ask them, are you aroused by children? What questions are you going to ask them? Like, how's this going to go? Because and you know what? If you want to talk about mental evaluation, I'm cool with that. Maybe all parents should go through a mental evaluation before they have kids. I'm cool with that. Because no tea, no shade, there's a bunch of heterosexual people, girl, that got kids, girl, and can't raise them. And kids out here doing all type of trifling ass shit. So maybe that should be something. Maybe that should be something for all parents. First of all, to see if they are mentally, emotionally, and financially stable enough to be able to provide for children. I'm with that. You talking about a mental? Hell, I'll go into that too. If we're gonna if we're gonna take the game and make the game inclusive for everybody, I don't mind playing. I don't mind playing. But I'm only going to play if everybody else going to play, girl. Don't sit up here and try to create these little standards and these little ideologies, girl, saying that LG people have to play by these rules, meanwhile everybody else don't. No, 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 no. We all human beings, baby. It's a human being game. So with that being said, we all playing it. And maybe if we had these type of mental evaluations for parents before they have children, whether they're adopting kids, whether they're having their own biological kids, or whether they're having surrogacy, because there are heterosexual people who have surrogacy as well. They can't. There are some women who are barren. There are some men who are sterile and can't have their own kids. They should still be able to have the right to have kids as well. So for all the people that want to go through a mental evaluation, my question would be is, can we do that for everybody? And maybe if we do that, maybe we might have better marriages. We might have better families. We might have children being raised to be loved and appreciated and accepted. Like, maybe we should do that. I'm for that. If you're about making that broad and generalized, I'm cool with that. That makes sense. I will play along. I will go through the mental evaluation too if we're gonna do that. I'm definitely cool with that. I'm not gonna argue against that.
For our future generation to be able to sit here and depend on people like conservatives, such as myself, to give them hope that we're not turning America into some weird Hollywood fantasy. These fucking liberals think,
But it's called the American dream. It's nothing but a fantasy. It's nothing but a fantasy. It's supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave, but when girls start being free and start being brave, it becomes a problem. And the reason why it's called an American dream is because they don't want people to wake up to the true reality of humanity, of connectedness and of love. They want us to continue to be at odds with each other and to not understand each other and to demean each other and not to listen to each other and to not be open-minded with each other. They don't want us to do that. Because you're talking about Grindr and Jack and all this stuff. Okay, who's financing it? Where's the money coming from? These are $1 million ads that are being placed. We're talking about something that's not just in America. Jack is all around the world. It's not just an American thing, you know. Grindr is not just an American thing. It's all around the world. All these apps, just like eHarmony, just like Black Planet, just like Singles Meet, just like all these other dating sites are all global as well. Once again, there are powers that be that are all about the money, the green thing, the only thing that they're really about, which is that over everything. Cream, cash rules everything around me type of energy. What about the people who spend thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on those ads on Jack and Grindr? Even with Pride Month, the reason why Pride Month I feel like is in people's faces the way it is because it's a money-making thing. From June 1st to June 30th or 31st or however many days it is in June, they okay with you being LGBT because they want your money. But as soon as July 1st, they be on that Christopher Christian Walker shit. Oh my God, it's been 3 months and you still have the pride flag up, and this you're infringing on my American rights. Just all type of crazy. All right.
That life is a movie and life is not a movie. Life is very real. And you want me to feel fucking bad for you because life has treated you hard? You made your own life hard. God didn't make a mistake with you. God didn't sit here and threw you the wrong parts. God made you in his image.
And maybe instead of looking at it as they're changing what God gave them, God didn't make mistakes. We're talking about the expression of God not making a mistake. We're talking about how love covers you no matter what way you're going. That is the one thing that is not a mistake. You have people who are trans. Trans literally means transform. They're transforming into something else. They're evolving into something else. It is an evolution when it comes down to trans people. Again, these are people who are having the trans experience, who are dealing with the trans experience every day, who are not able to turn the trans experience off and have to go in the world where people are going to only judge them based on their experience and how they show up as opposed to their fucking character and who they really are. And you're not a trans person, so you don't have to push yourself to understand the trans experience. If anything, the only thing that they're asking is just common decency and respect. That's simply it. To leave people alone and allow them to live their life, especially when their life is not objectively hurting anybody else. Because y'all the ones that have problem with LGBT people. And y'all also have a problem when LGBT people speak up and defend themselves against a lot of the ignorant viewpoints and perspectives. See, back in the day, LGBT people would be punished for that. But now LGBT people is becoming equal in this bitch. And LGBT people are actually facing their fears and reading the Bible for themselves to do what? Study to show themselves approved. And they're discovering a lot more than what they thought they knew. Come to find out, knew more about it than y'all do. And y'all claim to walk in its name. This is going to get very deep. And this is why emotional intelligence is required and very important. Because a lot of people don't even know how to deal with their own fucking emotions. And they try to cancel their emotions and cut their emotions completely off as if though that's the solution to their problems. When in actuality, it's going to make shit a lot worse. Just like there are people who are overly emotional and don't have any sort of mental fortitude to where they don't know how to control their own emotions. So this whole blending thing, this whole aligning thing is going to be very motherfucking difficult. Because people are going to have to check their own egos at the fucking door. And it's hard to check your own ego. Because we spent so much time trying to build this false idea and sense of self that doesn't bring us any true joy or happiness in our lives. And it shows because we go around tearing down other people's lives. Instead of learning how to love ourselves so that we can love other people and not be threatened or intimidated by the way they happen to show up on planet Earth in this collective human experience.
And you want to tell me that I'm mentally ill because I'm telling you the truth, but you're not mentally ill, but you're questioning God and want me to post my dick on OnlyFans? That's not mentally ill. That's gratifying, and it's the highest of highs of liberation.
That might be your interpretation of it, and that might be some people's perspective. I'm not even going to hold you. Because once again, That's the only time where a lot of people feel valuable in sex. And again, this not isn't exclusively LGBT thing. There are women out here that do the same thing. There are men out here that do the same thing that are heterosexual. We're not loving each other. We're not being honest with each other. And I, for me, wouldn't say that you're mentally ill. I'm not going to say that to you. Will I say ignorant? I will say that. I will say you're very ignorant when it comes to trans experiences and other healthy forms of LGBT visibility and expression. I say you're ignorant to that. I say that you're trying to discover a foundation of self-love within yourself. But to go around bashing other people, that's not the move, sis. That's not. It's not the move. What people, I guess, are calling the mental illness on your end is the fact that, once again, you are supporting a group of people who, through their conservatism, have expressed to you for the longest time. Ooh, that was so wrong and so horrible. Let me make sure this sound good. Hold on, y'all. Just one more second. Are we still good? Hello? Hold on. I think we still good. Okay. Their issue is that you are supporting a group of people who have explicitly explained their viewpoints on sexuality. They don't want LGBT around at all. And if so, a fucking whisper and a silence, and only to benefit them. That's it. That's it. And I understand that some people will see that as a sacrifice. And then there are some people who will say sacrifice. What about the people at the Stonewall Inn who sacrificed their lives? Because if you did your research in history, the mafia was extorting people at Stonewall Inn, allowing them to still experience life how they want to, but extorted them and tried to out them and destroy their lives. And to the point to where the police even still pulled up in those places, and they sat there and literally discriminated against them, saw them as ill, saw them as degenerates of society who had to be policed and watched at all times. It could not be trusted. But when those people started standing in their humanity and said, fuck this shit, we're not going to deal with this shit, and revolted, that was a sacrifice, because there were people who got fucked up. There literally was a LGBT activist in Kenya, one of the most homophobic places on the planet, who literally was murdered, whose body was found in a metal fucking box. And all he was doing was to bring advocacy to LGBT life and for LGBT people to be treated as human beings. And his life was snuffed from him. That's why I say it's very important to educate yourself about the trans experience and about these LGBT experiences. And I mean, share even some of your own, because you shared with me some traumatic stuff that happened to you. Why don't you use that to connect with other people so that they can understand where you're coming from? Because from a lot of people's perspective, it comes off as being very callous. And then to have the nerve to sit up here and say that you're operating in God's supremacy and in the name of God, you talking about Satan. It seems like the God that you serve for a lot of people could be considered Satan, because there's nothing fruitful and life-giving coming from it. It's nothing but damnation and destruction. And meanwhile, there are people out here who are completely LGBT, living their best LGBT life, being blessed, having family, financially secure, emotionally, mentally secure, having nothing but happiness and joy in their life, that are living. Are we going to discount their experiences too? And aren't you trying to be one of them? Aren't you trying to be one of the LGBT people who can manifest the American dream and do it the quote unquote right way, when there are people who literally, what you're trying to accomplish with your life romantically and all that stuff, have been able to accomplish what you are still struggling to accomplish? And instead of directing your energy towards those experiences, instead of tapping into those experiences and trying to use that as a blueprint for your experience, you're going to literally take a blueprint of people who don't even have you included in their blueprint. And if it is in some form of servitude. And it's not even a righteous servitude. It is a suppressive servitude. And if you still have to suppress who you are to not even talk about the future, but to support other people's perspectives about what the future should be, then why did Christ die on the cross then? Are you saying that Christ left a spot? Are you saying that Christ didn't really wash it away like he said he was? And if that's the case, you're calling Christ a liar. So with you being a Christian, are you saying that you are denouncing God? See, that's the gag for me. There's a lot of talking, but not enough experience. There's a lot of yabba dabba doing, but ain't nobody solving the mystery. We're not getting a dang if it wasn't for that meddling Ron, wasn't for the meddling kids. We're not getting that. We're not getting any mags taken off to show who the monsters are. We're not getting any resolve. We're not getting any Scooby snacks or a fucking sandwich after all of our hard work. We're not getting any of that, Ron. We're not. And you say you walk in a level of truth. Truth is going to always prevail, and truth is going to hit people in their hearts and their souls, whether they want it to or not. And as a spiritual individual, someone who has emotional intelligence, someone who is self-aware, it's not hitting. It's not hitting. If anything, like the conversations we had in public, I would wish that you would operate like that publicly. Because if my ass can be open-minded and work through my own triggers and to be able to remain objective, there are other people out there who are LGBT who are willing to do that for you as well.
Wear skimpy outfits.
Hey, Spicy. Hey.
Get sugar daddies.
Good morning.
Fuck for money. That's not mental illness.
That is a mental illness. That is a mental illness because it's a low self-esteem. These people are doing this because they have low self-esteem. And they're feeling some form of worth and value. Because they're not being loved in the right way. Which is why they look for love in all the wrong places. And not everybody is going to have the mental fortitude that you had to break out of it. There are some people who literally are stuck. That's why empathy is important. But you don't have to have empathy. That's perfectly fine. Other people will. It would be better if you did have empathy. Because if you had empathy, you wouldn't be cutting yourself off from having a more fruitful and life-bringing experience. Ron, bro, but like I said, bro, this public conversation gotta happen soon, bro. It gotta happen soon. It gotta happen soon. It gotta happen soon. Because there's nothing that you're saying in your uploads that is constructive or that is conducive to growth. You literally sat up here and said, that conservatives are more progressive than liberals. But when we read the definition of conservatism, it means they're in opposition of change. So how can people who don't want to change be the leading edge of change? But I mean, hey, you're saying that there is niggas and wigs with dicks walking around saying they women. So I guess in that regard, I guess you taking a page out of my book. Well, Bubs, you did say play along. You did say play the game, so I'm playing the game. And if that's the case, nigga, touche, girl, touche, girl. That was smart.
It's almost at a point where it's like, if you don't accept this gay agenda, then something is mentally wrong with you.
Girl, you don't have to accept the gay agenda. Just get the fuck out of people's way. You ain't got to accept it. You ain't got to agree. You ain't got to condone, but move out the way. And when you want to sit up here and literally discriminate against somebody and not give them a job, not because they have a horrible attendance record, not because their previous employers dogged them the fuck out, not because this hoe has a rap sheet of stealing and all this other type of stuff, simply on the grounds that they are trans. And because they are trans, in your mind, you're going to believe that these individuals do not deserve to be around children because they're going to influence the kids. They're going to do something sexual to the kids. And it's going to affect my life as a parent. And then the gag be that you have people saying, oh, I'm not homophobic, I'm not transphobic, but yet will not go sit down and have a dinner with a trans family to just do what Christ did, girl. Like Christ's ass wasn't speaking from a book, girl. He wasn't saying, oh, you hoes have to come to the temple, girl. He went to the peoples, girl. He went to the highways and the byways, girl. He went to the spaces and the places, girl, and he talked to the people. And not only did he talk to the people, he listened. He was slow to speak because he was trying to educate himself and use empathy, which is why he was able to do miraculous things, because he was able to understand what was going on with the people. He was able to acknowledge the root issue and not the fucking symptom or the branches, but the actual root of it. So where is his power? Where is this God power? God will not be mocked, right? With God, all things are possible, right? To do exceedingly and abundantly above all that we can ever ask or think. So why is that supreme power that you're talking about not coming through you and ministering to the God in me? Because whether my ass is liberal or not, whether my ass is gay or trans or whatever the case may be, God is still in me somewhere. That's why there's always redemption. So where are the words and where is the redemptive energy? Because energy will never lie. Spice said he seems to just say family, and I don't want to believe that is the case. Because once again, like I said, I've had a few conversations with him on the back end, and I was grateful for the opportunity to see his humanity. Because when we was talking, he wasn't Ron the conservative. He was just Ron who happens to be a conservative. And I'm asking, okay, well, how did your viewpoint shift? Why do you feel this way? And we had challenging conversations. And I was like, this would be dope for us to have this conversation publicly, so that we can talk to each other and learn from each other. Because once again, no tea, no shade, all facts. What Ron is, the underlying thing that Ron is saying, that he is struggling to get across to everyone outside of him objectively, me and him are literally saying the same things. It's just that he's saying it in a very destructive way, or an abrasive way. which is why for me, I like to give my commentary to kind of interpret for other people who may find Ron not as palatable, I believe the word is, palatable as they would want to. Like I said, there were some things he said in the beginning. I was like, girl, my spirit is telling me that you trolling. Like, I'm trying to stick it out and really try to understand where you're coming from. But a part of me is like, girl, he is trolling down. Because, baby, when you speak with the goddamn truth, girl, you ain't got to rehearse shit. It just comes the fuck out because it's the truth and it hits. It hits.
And it's crazy because liberals fail to understand that exactly how they feel about us not wanting to accept this gay agenda is exactly how I feel about you wanting to propagate it.
Wow.
To sexualize the world with your mental illness instead of going to get help, instead of wanting to inject your body with the right chemical balance. You would rather throw it off more completely by being a man with estrogen pumping through your veins, by being a dyke with testosterone pumping through your veins. That's not mental illness, right? But being a conservative is mental illness. Get your fucking life together and understand that as long as I'm alive, as long as I have this face to look good, as long as I keep reading books to build my vernacular, understand that I'm coming for all of you because there may be a day I raise children. And I want my kids to have the best life and not be oppressed by stupid asses like you who are probably might try to have kids if you can find a relationship that you can stick with that doesn't involve fucking all day. And shooting drugs down your throat, Percocets, meth. Get the fuck on. Woke and Broke Conservative Commentary with Ron Vuggotta. Subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on TikTok if they haven't deleted my profile because China wants to be full of shit and promote democratic liberal views. But Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you can find me on all of that. I love you guys. I want to say a prayer for you guys, as a matter of fact. Lord Jesus, I ask that you please forgive all of these liberals for all the sexualization that they're trying to push into our kids and to our society. I ask that you forgive me of all my sins, God. I understand that people are wanting to hurt me and wanting to wish bad on me. And I understand that the way I say things is very hurtful and it's very harmful, but it's only hurtful and harmful to the people that are refusing science. They're refusing biology. They're refusing the facts. I have everything that I'm in me, and I'm doing everything in me through goodwill and through love and with the intention to bring everyone together. We want economy, God. We want Jesus Christ, God. We don't want liberals. We don't want homosexualness. We don't want all of these sexual revolutions. We don't want kids feeling like the best they can be in life is through sex and sugar daddy.
Amen, Lord. The Lord cut his ass off in prayer, girl. You ain't even finished the prayer. Now, you know damn well if you was praying in the black household, you would have got your ass whipped for that because you got to finish the prayer, sir. You can't just be praying and don't know what the hell you talking about. Ron. I'm proud that you found something to believe in. And once again, I understand and I want to get a deeper understanding if possible. If not, that's perfectly fine because I know who I am. No shade. Because my response is to help you, not really help me. Well, in a sense, and help me to be able to love myself and to share from my overflow of love and give that love to other people who may be struggling on how to give it to me based off of a simple yet ignorant ideology, basic ass ideology. Now, I am proud of you of reading and studying and educating yourself because no tea, no shade, but all facts. Your ancestors, black people and mine, were murdered, had their tongues cut out, eyes ripped out, all type of horrendous shit happening to them simply because they were educating themselves. So I'm proud that you are using your brain. Now, again, from your experiences, I'd rather you tell the true reality of it, and I hope that you share even more about it. I hope you do, because that will add validity to what you're saying. But again, with your experience, it happened to you, and it happened to other people, not just gay people, but just people in general, who bodies were used as masturbatory aids, was used as something temporal, something that was right there at that moment, something that did not really care about who you was as a person or try to get to know you beyond your physicality. But the fact that you are projecting your pain that way onto a group of people to say, well, all you motherfuckers is like that. You're making broad generalizations, but then are trying to be on some Thanos type shit. Like, you want to be able to snap the finger and have natural selection happen, but you be excluded from the natural selection. That's why I say, if you're going to play this game, include yourself. And that's the gag. The same group of people that you support, more so than not, is going to prove to you how they do not want the totality of Ron. These group of people are sitting here telling you they don't want all of who you are. And how we show up in reference to the generation after us and kids, sex plays a part in that. According to, because once again, these are conservative ideas. See, liberal realizes that there are commas. Conservative ideologies believe in periods. And that's it and that's all. They believe in period I, period right? So once again, with their conservative ideas have never and will never include anything that is deviated from man and woman, male and female, and the nuclear family. For some people, the natural family. The conservative people are not going to allow you to even have kids if you decide to have kids, because you are still gay. What makes you think that these group of people are going to do something for you? So it's kind of like these people will have the ability to say, oh, I have gay friends. Oh, I have black friends. And then you find out the gay and black friend, they'd be like, huh? These people are going to see you as a safer type of thing. Because one, you already coming in ready for the ass whoopings. You already ready coming in for the lashings. You already happy to sacrifice. And you see it for the greater good. But that greater good is even going to affect your children, because once again, your children are going to be the children that were raised by two daddies. Or my gay dad. And I could be wrong. There could be some sort of evolution that's happening in the conservative party that I am unaware of. And once again, if that is the case, I feel like it's your responsibility, since you have a platform. I mean, you have close to 100,000 subscribers. You have the platform to be able to educate people and say, okay, LGBT people, okay, black people, y'all have it completely wrong when it comes to conservative people. Matter of fact, I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to record and I'm going to use my platform and use my time, effort, and energy to prove to y'all how wrong y'all are and how y'all need to get on the winning team like me. Bruh. Again, I'm not going to say mental illness. Because a lot of people that have mental illness are stuck and they feel like they can't help it. And I'm also not going to call anything mental illness if I'm not educated on it. I guess what could be considered mental illness is speaking on some shit with such confidence as if you know, but you really don't. To sit up here and act like you have the answers when you don't have them, sway. That can be considered mental illness or delusional. But I mean, I hope that in your commentary, in your uploads, in your political career, that you prove liberal people wrong. Because you know what? I'm going to play devil's advocate and I'm going to include myself as liberal. Because you already feel that I have a lot of liberal viewpoints and you see me there as well. So for the sake of conversation, I'll place myself in liberal. Even though I don't support the Democratic Party or any of these political parties. Because to be honest, I feel like there needs to be an amalgamation. There needs to be a combination of both the fucking Republican and Democratic Party. I mean, hello, we're all living in the same fucking country. We need to come together and figure out what the fuck we're gonna do for the collective. Instead of just saying, oh, my side is right, your side is wrong. No, bitch. We all are missing some fragments and some elements to this component and this puzzle of unity and inclusion. We have to come together and figure out what fucking pieces match and what don't. The Democrats might have pieces that the Republicans don't have and vice versa. And we've been doing this shit all the time and ain't no real shit changed. We've been just bullshitting and pussyfooting around, being comfortable doing the same fuck shit. Meanwhile, the fucking social climate is getting hot as fuck. Shit boiling over and shit. Shit burning and shit. The smoke detector going off and shit. With these cheap ass dollar store batteries and shit. And then when shit hit the fan, then all of a sudden it's gonna be a motherfucking problem. The problem is that we didn't pay attention to the fucking temperature. And then for those who are paying attention to the temperature, y'all don't want to drop the motherfucking link and have a conversation, girl. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, girl. When shit hits the motherfucking fan, girl, understand the ones who've been warning hoes all along, bitch, we gonna cuss y'all the fuck out. We gonna cuss out the false side of your ass, girl. We gonna sit up here and slow drag the I told you so type of bullshit. Because of the fact that we can't come together and have conversations and talk and really get down to the nitty gritty of the bullshit, girl, we're all gonna have to fucking suffer because of our own fucking insecurities, girl. And I'm grateful, low-key, no shade, that Ron ass is showing up the way that he's showing up, girl. Because at least, bitch, he's showing up and being honest. Now, could he be even more honest? Hell yeah. And I hope he does become more honest. Because that's what we need, honest conversations. Enough with this goddamn pussyfooting around, girl. Enough of this bullshit, because I ain't going to hold you. There are some people who are Democratic and liberal, girl, who have not healed from their shit. And the bullied has now become the bully. There are some people who are LGBT, girl, who have power and privilege, girl, and be utilizing that privilege irresponsibly, girl. And it's going to be the burden of proof on me as an LGBT person to be able to check another LGBT person. Especially when they out here doing some bullshit. Because when you walk and you are aware of self and you walk in self-love, and you add the spiritual aspect, but also the realistic aspect, and also the hopeful aspect. You blend those three together, you'll be able to call an ace and a spade, and speak to a bitch heart, and speak to a bitch spirit, and to try the spirit by the motherfucking spirit. And it's a bunch of motherfuckers getting up here talking shit, and they don't even know who the hell their spirit is, girl. They have an identity crisis within themselves. So for all of this talk that's going on, again, I'm grateful for it, girl. I'm very grateful for it. All I'm saying is, if you're going to continue to give the commentary, my thing is at least bring up some facts. At least when I do my shit, I bring up YouTube videos. I bring up news articles, girl. Like, if you are in a public speaking class, girl, or a debate class, girl, no tea, no shade, but all facts, you would have already failed, girl. You would have failed. Because when you do things scholastically and do them right, you bring resources, you have references. See how I reference the Bible and scriptures? And I'm the homosexual. The Bible should be burning in my hands, girl. Me casting my eyes upon the Bible and reading it, girl, my eyes should be melting inside of my head, because according to you, because I am gay and I am liberated in self, I serve the devil, girl. So me holding anything that is religious, girl, spiritual, is deemed evil. And I don't have the permission and the authority to even gaze my eyes upon this, girl. I need somebody with spiritual eyes to read it for me. But meanwhile, I can read it. And then on top of that, you're talking about things that are natural and all this stuff, and that's realistic. Meanwhile, you believe in a God that is supernatural. That's not even limited to the natural world that we're in. The book is nothing but allegories and stories and all type of magical, spiritual, witchcraft ass shit going up and through the motherfucking book. I mean, the book of Psalms is nothing but a book of spells and incantations. When Christ was healing people, like when he healed the blind man, he took some dirt, he spat in the dirt, he motherfucking rubbed it around his hands, put it on this person's eye, told them to go wash their eyes out at this well, at this time, this many times, and boom, you will be healed. And it happened. Moses was talking to the burning bush. I feel like that was weed, girl. He was sparking it out. All type of spiritual, supernatural shit happening in the Bible, but yet the people who claim to own this and to be rightly aligned with God and know the mind of God, girl, struggle in the application of manifesting, girl. Because God is grand. If you read the book, girl, God don't just do small shit, girl. He lets your ass know that he did it, according to the narrative of the Bible. So why are y'all failing to actually manifest that? And this shit is deeper than this surface level bullshit. That's why we keep talking in circles, girl. Again, I literally did a live where the same shit you said is the same fucking shit that was said in the 50s and the 60s. A bunch of ignorant ass motherfuckers who don't know anything about the totality of the LGBT experience, or yet a healthier version of the LGBT experience, girl. They speak from their pain body and their own trauma as opposed to dealing with it and healing from it. Because the fact that you don't even have emotional intelligence lets me know that you still have a lot of healing to do. Because if you were very aware in self, you would be able to deal with the emotional side. And that, spiritually speaking, you have not dealt with. And this is me putting my spiritual teacher, spiritual aware hat on. I know when someone's speaking from their pain body. I know when someone's speaking from an ignorant place. And you have every right to speak your mind. Again, I would never ever ever, forever, never, ever stop you from that. Because you grown. You going to do what you going to do. And it's your God-given American right in reference to freedom of speech. If I stop your freedom of speech, my freedom of speech is threatened as well. But when you get up here and sprout bullshit, don't get mad when hoes get up here and call it bullshit. And then y'all get mad at the end. How is it that the individuals who are lost and confused are the ones who know more about who they are? Why are y'all threatened and intimidated by a group of people that y'all say are mentally ill, that y'all say don't know who they really are, that y'all say are the ones that's lost? Why is the ones that have the truth and the power, girl, why are y'all the weak ones, girl? Meanwhile, the evil ones are strong. Why? Why? And if this is a biblical thing, if that means that Jesus' ass is coming back, then y'all should not be pressed. Y'all should be happy and excited. Yes, Jesus coming back, girl. He finna wipe all this shit out. The great cleansing is coming, girl. You should be ecstatic and happy about that. Because now God is coming to wrong what is right. And right what is wrong. Baby, 2023 going forward is going to be a very interesting year, girl, because we're entering into a very emotional state of being. People talk about, I don't speak from emotions. I don't speak from emotions. Y'all better start speaking from emotions, and better yet, y'all need to start being more aware of y'all goddamn emotions. Because y'all emotions is very important when it comes to manifesting. And again, y'all don't have spiritual knowledge and education. Y'all missing out on that. Now, spirituality the answer to everything? No. But it's a part of the fucking puzzle, and it's a part that we've been neglecting. Especially from a group of people who say that they are spiritual because they believe in God. It's time for people who say they walk in power, girl, to actually do that. And that's on a human level. Fuck a label. That's on a human level. But it's okay. I'm ready for these conversations. I'm ready. And I'm ready. And again, the more that you upload, the more I'm going to respond. No shade. So you might as well change your shit to my response. You might as well change your shit to woke and broke. To you liberal hoes. You might as well make it a liberal commentary at this point, because there's nothing but liberal people watching it. Now, yes, so conservative people will watch it, and they'll cash app you instead of bringing their ass on the live and defending you. They'll get you on the back end, and that'd be the problem. Like, no, girl, you got this power. Present it in the forefront. Girl, like I said, I'm ready for the conversation. I'm ready. Again, whenever you want, whatever turf, whatever area, I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to show y'all what Christ energy really looks like. Or at least a strong foundation of what that looks like, girl. And I want you to get everybody, girl. Get all the conservative people you can. Go get all the Ben Shapiro quotes, girl. Get all the Candace Owens commentary. Get all of it. Get all of it. And I know you gonna hit her like you just said at the end of your commentary. You ain't holding back on nobody. And I would be stupid to sit up here and to believe that you will hold back on me just because we had a few private conversations. I want you to bring all of it. Because I'm going to bring it too. And we going to let truth ring out the way it's supposed to, girl. And I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that? Because if you are, let's get this show on the road, girl. It's 2023. We didn't have some time to think about it and figure things out, girl. Let's set a date and a time. Let's get to it. No shade. No shade. But anyway, thank you for those who came through. I know this was a late ass, unscheduled ass live, so we didn't get a lot of people. Hopefully the replay gang will be cool. But girl, no tea, no shade, all facts. I don't even get a lot of views on my channel, girl, because I feel like my channel low-key is shadow banned. And girl, I goes into depths on shit, and there's a lot of ADHD, mental midget shit going on, girl. I'm a midget in real life, girl, but mentally a lot of hoes are midgets. So, you know, they're not gonna get it. At least not right now. But when shit hit the fan and shit gets serious and they looking for some empathy and they looking for some open-mindedness and they looking for some inclusion to include them while they struggling to deal with their own insecurities, girl, they'll be back. The video will hit differently that time. But anyway, shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to Spicy. Thank you. Shout out to, who is this? Cracked Head. Well, hopefully Ron be able to crack my face and crack the face of LGBT people, girl, and just prove to them how wrong they are. Shout out to Neri. Shout out to you. I don't think you want to go on Neri's stuff, Ron. He shows the gay agenda all the time. Okay, and I thank God for it. I'm screaming. Anyway, thank y'all so much. Yeah, and I will see y'all again for another live, baby. This was a random ass live. Again, I was gonna wait until Monday, but I was like, let me get this on out the way, girl, so I can focus on other things. No shade. And like I said, Ryan, you can hit me up anytime you talk, speak your mind. And again, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on that on the date and the time. Like, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to have this conversation. You're the one who you feel is morally right. I'm ready for you to prove that. Objectively. I'm ready. Anyway, y'all have the rest of an amazing Saturday morning. And I'll see y'all. Peace.
Love never dies, just choose to